Hello again everyone and welcome. I'm Jamaican Youth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about 5 positives and 5 areas of improvement for the Jamaica Reggae Boyz going forward in this Gold Cup. As you probably have seen if you checked out my channel, I was in Chicago for the game. I was in Soldier Field. I watched the game there, and there are a few things I'd like to just talk about. I mean, I'm not really a sports talking person, but I felt compelled to talk a little bit about the Reggae Boyz performance in the US game. And my approach, I want to be a little bit balanced. So I looked at 5 positives and 5 areas of improvement for this team. Now, before I move along, I'd just like to ask you to smash the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, to subscribe to the channel, because that will help the channel grow. So I'm going to get right into it. My 5 positives for the game. Number 1 is we didn't lose the game. You know, I know on paper Jamaica is the best team in the tournament, but you don't win the game on paper, you win it on the field. And unfortunately, we just didn't pull it over the line in terms of getting the win, but we still didn't lose, which means that we still have an opportunity to win the group. We can still beat Trinidad and beat St. Kitts. If we beat them by large enough margins, then we put ourselves in a good position to win the group, because we can assume that the US will beat St. Kitts and beat Trinidad as well. So, you know, we have to do our part and make sure we put away our games. But we didn't lose, which we got a point. And the Coach Jaime Algrimson said that the most important thing is that we don't lose the first game in a tournament. So mission accomplished from that perspective, and we didn't lose the game. So that's one positive. My second positive is the impact of Demarai Gray and Damion Lowe. Of course, with Demarai Gray, it was not a certainty that he was even going to get his papers sorted out to be in this Gold Cup. But as you can see, immediately he has had an impact on the Jamaican team, as you know, already. You know, he provided the assist for Damion Lowe, and Damion Lowe expertly put it away. You know, so the impact of Demarai Gray, we're really lucky to have him in our team, and I think he's going to be a really good player for us going forward. Damion Lowe, of course, Damion Lowe is not necessarily a new player, but he was injured, and you know, he is in the team now. He started last night and he scored. But the thing with Damion Lowe is the passion that he plays with. Now, sometimes that passion is a little bit too much, so if he could dial it back some more. But you know, I love the heart and the intensity and the passion that he has for Jamaica, and I hope that his passion, his love of of playing for Jamaica would permeate this team, and every single player would have his attitude. But excellent attitude, Damion Lowe. Keep it up. You are one of my favorite players, and you're definitely the man of the match, at least for Jamaica yesterday in that game. My third positive is, I think finally we're having our first team play together and get the opportunity to gel together. Of course, you know, much have been said about whether the players that play in England should have been here earlier so that we could gel better or have time together before we start our game against the United States. That never really happened. And a lot of them didn't come in until the team made its way to Chicago. So there would have been a lack of game preparation amongst the first team. However, we have them now, and you know, the only person missing is Ethan Pinnock, and hopefully he can come as quickly as possible, hopefully for the next game. I don't know, but I think having everybody gelling together is good. Hopefully we can work out our kinks now, so that moving forward we can gel better by the time we'll get to the business end of the tournament, which is the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the final. Will be a really good performing unit. Then positive number 4 is having a coach that is willing to start the best available team. Again, this has been something that has kind of been a problem where we have, it seems like sometimes we have our best players or some of our best players on the bench. This coach has gone out of his way to seek out the best players he can find that can represent Jamaica, and then have brought them in, and then when he has brought them in, he plays them. And I like that about him. He has guts, you know, bringing Dujan Whisper Richards to the Gold Cup through a lot of controversy. Dujan Richards is a really good player for the future, and so giving him this exposure right now is a good idea. But you saw him bring in Demarai Gray and start him immediately because he believes that Demarai Gray would be amongst one of our better players. So we have a coach that's willing to do that. And then finally, in terms of my 5 positives, is the fan support. The sprinkling of Jamaican supporters that were at the game. I mean, you may call it a sprinkling or more than a sprinkling. There were over 36,000 attendees to the game last night. And, you know, I don't think that there were more than 1,500 Jamaican supporters there, but they were there. And that's important. And I just want to use this opportunity to say to the fans that your support of the Jamaican team is really important. And, you know, we know Jamaican culture. We cuss with team all the while. We cuss out, you know, when Liam Bailey play good, or, you know, like Andre Blake letting a goal, and, you know, we're quick for cuss them more than support them. And one of the things that I realized when I was in the stadium last night is the United States was down 1-0 for quite a bit of time when they played in that game. And they never looked like they were going to score against us. But the fans never stopped cheering them on. They had a supporter section there that just kept going and going and going and going. And I think we can learn something from that as Jamaican supporters. You know, we're quick to criticize when things doesn't go well. But at the end of the day, this is our team. You know, we want them to do well, and we need to send them positive energy, positive vibes. I'm frustrated about the game, how it turned out yesterday in terms of us not winning it when I thought we could have won it. However, I still am sending positive messages, or I still want to send positive vibes to the Reggae Boyz. I'm still very much in support of them, and I want to see them do well, and I'm rooting for them 100%. Win, lose, or draw. Okay, so those are my 5 positives. Now, here are my 5 areas of improvement for the Reggae Boyz going forward. Number 1, we need to improve our ability to close out games. That has been a problem for 3 consecutive coaches now. Under Tapper Whitmore, under Paul Hall, and now under Jaime Hallgrimsson. Now, in all fairness, Hallgrimsson is relatively new. We need to give him a little bit more time to, you know, stamp his identity on the team and stamp his program on the team. However, we need to do a better job closing out games. The goal that scored against us yesterday scored in the 88th minute or somewhere around there. And that's not good for us. We need to, first of all, not allow or not just want to sit on a 1-0 lead. That's not going to work. You know, we have tried it under the 3rd coach now, and it doesn't work. Happened to us, I think, against Mexico. It happened to us against El Salvador, and it happened to us in the last Gold Cup against Costa Rica. We were leading them 1-0 for a long while, and then in the dying moment of the game, I think it was Ruiz, you know, headed, and the game drew 1-1. We cannot put ourselves on the back foot on a 1-0 lead and say, okay, we're 1-up, let's try and win it. No, we got to, with this attacking team, with the likes of Bailey, Mikel Antonio, Demarai Gray, Bobby Reid, we have so much attacking, you know, options now. We need to use those attacking options and score more goals. It's not acceptable to just sit on a 1-0 lead. My second area of improvement is directed to one person, and that's Leon Bailey. You know, I'm a huge fan of Leon Bailey. I get up religiously on Saturday mornings, watch Aston Villa just because of him. And if they take him off the field, I stop watching it because I really come there to see Leon Bailey play. However, the truth of the matter is that Leon Bailey has not performed well for Jamaica. He has scored some goals, yes, and he has had games that he has done well, but it's not consistent enough. And with someone of your caliber, you know, you need to do more. You know, the team depends on you, the fans depend on you. I know that might seem like a little bit of pressure or a lot of pressure on you, but that's just the nature of the beast, because you are the player everybody talks about when you say the Jamaica Reggae Boyz. It's Leon Bailey's team. Your face is what's going up there. And when you look at you know, Christian Pulisic, who, you know, is the Leon Bailey, you could say, of, you know, the United States. Whenever the time comes, Pulisic steps up and he, you know, does what he needs to do for the team. So Leon Bailey, that is something that you need to do. You need to improve on. The penalty, missing a penalty is par for the course. I mean, Messi misses penalty, great players misses penalty, but the rebounds, or the rebound, I should say, could have been put away. You should have put that away. But even if you didn't score that, the impact on the game wasn't strong enough. So that's an area we need to improve on. Improvement number 3 is ball possession. We need to possess the ball better. We have better players now. Our ball possession is lacking from our perspective. When I look at the stats yesterday, I think the US had 63% possession of the ball, and we had something like in the 30s, somewhere down there. That's not good enough. And I understand you're playing against the US on US soil, so it's a home game for them. It's advantage USA. But that's not their first string team. And in general, I think we tend to get a little bit nervous on the ball whenever we're put under pressure. And we just boot over the ball or we turn over the ball. And that has to improve. We have to be able to remain composed on the ball whenever we have the ball, even under pressure. And you have heard John Wall talk about that as well in a press conference. He says it's ingrained in the culture in Jamaica, where, you know, our default reaction is just to kick out the ball whenever we are put under pressure. That has to change. And it needs to start with the Reggae Boyz, with the quote-unquote galaxy of stars that we have now. We need to possess the ball some more and in general be a little bit more composed on the ball. Area of improvement number 4, and that is our midfield. With the absence of Ravel Morrison, obviously because he's not playing for a team right now, I think our midfield is missing something. It's missing a spark. Right now, well, what I saw yesterday is that the coach started Joel Latibadere and Kevin Lambert in midfield, which both players had good games. Actually, they were rated amongst some of the highest performing players on the team yesterday. But at the same time, both Lambert and Latibadere are defensive midfielders. And you can look at Joel Latibadere's statistics over his career. He has not really scored a lot of goals, even though, you know, goals are not the only indication of how attacking a player is. But I haven't seen much from Latibadere in terms of the attacking aspect of his game. He looks more like a defensive or a holding midfielder. And Lambert is definitely a defensive midfielder. You know, I think Lambert kind of played it safe yesterday, and he's a player that I think needs to grow in confidence. But in general, I think the midfield needs an attacking spark. Currently, Daniel Johnson is the only attacking midfielder we have. I guess Bobby Reid can play the midfield role as well. However, this coach seems to want to use Bobby Reid as a winger and play Leon Bailey as a striker, along with Mikel Antonio. So that's how we kind of lined them up yesterday. So I don't know if that's what he's going to move forward with, but I think we need to improve our midfield. And My suggestion, if we're going to go with the 4-4-2, is that we have one defensive-minded midfielder or holding midfielder with an attacking option, which would be Daniel Johnson. However, it may have been a strategy move by the coach to have used two holding / defensive midfielder in the formation that he used yesterday. Then finally, our formation is the fifth area of improvement I think we can improve on. I know I've heard the coach talk about the fact that he doesn't have a set formation that he uses or a set system of play that he uses that he does all the time. What he does is analyzes the team that he's going to play, the situation that he's in, and then make a determination, how am I going to use the formation and set the system of play for that team that I'm going to do or I'm going to play. However, I've noticed that most to all of the games that has been played under this coach has been a 4-4-2 formation. And for me, you know, obviously I'm not a coach or anything, but just from a fan layman perspective, I look at the type of team that we have, and I wonder if a different formation would help, which would kind of change the personnel, how the makeup of the personnel on the pitch at the time. So, for example, a 4-3-3 formation where you still get your back four, which I think is what he wants, the two left back and right back wingers with the two central defenders there, but having three midfielders where you have two defensive midfielders and one attacking. So you could keep Latiba there and Lambert, but add Daniel Johnson right there as an attacking option. And then three in front of those players where you have two wingers. You still get your Bobby Reid and Demarai Gray, or Demarai Gray and Liam Bailey with Mikel Antonio in the middle. Now, obviously that would exclude some really good players, but in an effort to provide the most effective method for the type of players that we have, would that be a good, would it be, you know, make sense to kind of think about how can I, try a new formation that will be more effective and give us the results that we're looking for. So far, 4-4-2 hasn't worked. He hasn't won with that formation as yet, but I am still not looking at that as, the be-all, end-all to say, oh, because he hasn't won with 4-4-2 so far, it means it's not workable for us. So, those are my thoughts. Those are my 5 areas for improvement, and earlier I gave you my 5 positives from the game that I saw yesterday. So finally, Trinidad will not be easy. Our next game is against Trinidad. I don't think we should take them for granted. I think we should go out there and be attack-minded. I know Trinidad is going to be very defensive. They did a stellar job against Mexico in the past, and in terms of keeping them from scoring on them. So they're going to be very defensive-minded. But they scored against us when we played them. So we have to be careful and watch them and not take them for granted at all. We need to go out there and put them away, put them to bed. One of the problems we have as a Jamaican team, we don't win the games that we're supposed to win, but then we perform decent when we go down to the Azteca Stadium and play against Mexico. We have to put away the games that we are supposed to put away, that we're supposed to win. We're better than Trinidad. Let's show it. Let's not joke around and not get the job done. But at the end of the day, look, I've said what I've said. Those are my thoughts. At the end of the day, 100% Reggae Boy supporters. I support the guys. I wish them all the best. And, I really think that this team can win the Gold Cup. And that is not changing. Regardless of how I feel about it now, that's not going to change. I am 100% behind the Reggae Boys. Go Reggae Boys. Go out there and make us proud as fans. We deserve something to cheer about. An interesting fact is that Jamaica has not won a game since June 7, 2022. That's over a year. Jamaica has not won a game since June 7, 2022. That's over a year. That has to change. We have to improve that. That's not good enough. Come on, Reggae Boys. You can do this. You have the players now. Let's go out there and do better. All right. Thank you, everyone. I enjoyed being in Chicago. And, you know, definitely a city you should visit, even if you're not going to watch a game. But if you get the chance to visit Chicago, beautiful city. Very, very beautiful city. Got the chance to see some Reggae Boys and got in some controversy myself. But, you know, it is what it is. All right, everyone. Take care and peace out. Smash the like button on your way out and subscribe if you haven't done so as yet. Thanks and have a good day. I'm out.